Have you ever promised yourself that today would be different, only to find yourself scrolling through your phone at midnight, wondering where the entire day disappeared? You tell yourself tomorrow will be the day you finally start that project, learn that skill, or make that important change. But tomorrow comes and goes, and nothing happens. What if I told you that the answer to breaking free from this endless cycle isn't about willpower or motivation? What if the secret lies in understanding something so simple that once you hear it, you'll wonder why nobody ever taught you this before? Today's story will show you exactly how one person discovered this truth, and by the end, you'll have the key to transform your habits forever. But first, let me share something with you. Over the past year, I've received thousands of messages from people who feel trapped by their own patterns. They know what they should be doing. They have the knowledge. They even have the time. Yet somehow, they keep finding excuses, distractions, and reasons to delay. Sound familiar? The story I'm about to tell you isn't just entertainment. It's a mirror that will reflect back the exact mechanism that keeps you stuck, and more importantly, it will give you the precise tool to break free. This isn't about quick fixes or temporary motivation. This is about understanding the psychology behind why we delay and how to rewire that pattern permanently. So settle in, because what you're about to hear could be the turning point you've been waiting for. In a bustling city where everyone seemed to be racing against time, there lived a young woman named Sarah. She was intelligent, capable, and full of dreams. Sarah had big plans for her life. She wanted to start her own business, learn a new language, get in better shape, and spend more quality time with the people she loved. Every morning, she would wake up with genuine intention to make progress on these goals. But something strange always happened. Despite her best intentions, Sarah would find herself caught in the same routine every single day. She would check her phone the moment she woke up, telling herself she'd just look for 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes would stretch into 30, then an hour. By the time she realized what had happened, she was already running late for work. At her job, Sarah would sit at her desk with a clear plan for the day. She would organize her tasks, prioritize what needed to be done, and even set reminders on her computer. But whenever she faced something challenging or important, she would suddenly remember that she needed to reply to an email, organize her desk, or research something completely unrelated to her priorities. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and Sarah began to feel like she was living someone else's life. She was busy all the time, constantly moving, always doing something, but never making real progress on what truly mattered to her. She felt like she was running on a treadmill, expending energy but going nowhere. One evening, after another day of broken promises to herself, Sarah sat in her apartment, feeling frustrated and defeated. She looked around at all the books she had bought but never read, the exercise equipment that had become decoration, and the business plan that remained nothing more than a few scattered notes. She realized that despite having access to more information, tools, and opportunities than any generation before her, she felt more stuck than ever. That night, Sarah made a decision that would change everything. She decided to seek help from someone who might understand her struggle. Through a friend, she learned about an elderly man named Professor Chen who lived on the outskirts of the city. People said he had a unique way of helping others overcome the patterns that held them back. The next weekend, Sarah made the journey to meet Professor Chen. She found his home nestled between tall trees, far from the noise and distractions of the city. Professor Chen was tending to his garden when she arrived. He was a small, gentle man with kind eyes that seemed to hold decades of wisdom. When Sarah explained her struggle with procrastination and her inability to follow through on her goals, he listened without judgment. "Sarah," he said calmly, "before I can help you, I need you to do something for me. But it might seem strange." Sarah nodded eagerly. She was ready to try anything. Professor Chen led her to a small shed behind his house. Inside were dozens of wooden boxes of different sizes. He picked up the smallest box and handed it to her. "I want you to carry this box to the big oak tree at the end of my property and bring it back. But here's the important part. You must walk as slowly as possible. Take the smallest steps you can imagine. If you feel like you're moving too fast, slow down even more." Sarah looked confused. "That's it? Just walk slowly with this box?" "Trust me," Professor Chen smiled. "Sometimes the most powerful lessons come through the simplest actions." Sarah took the box and started walking. At first, she felt ridiculous. The box was light, the distance wasn't far, and walking slowly felt unnatural. Every instinct told her to speed up, to get this silly task over with quickly so she could get to the real solution to her problem. But she remembered the professor's words and forced herself to take tiny, deliberate steps. Step by step, she made her way toward the oak tree. As she walked, something unexpected happened. Instead of feeling impatient, she began to notice things she had never seen before. The way sunlight filtered through the leaves, the sound of birds calling to each other, the feel of the earth beneath her feet. When she reached the oak tree and turned around, she realized that for the first time in months, her mind wasn't racing with 100 different thoughts. She wasn't thinking about her phone, her work, or her endless to-do list. She was simply present, focused on this one small action. On the way back, Professor Chen was waiting for her with a knowing smile. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Different," Sarah admitted. "Calm, focused, but I don't understand what this has to do with procrastination." "Everything," Professor Chen replied. "Sarah, your problem isn't that you lack motivation or willpower. Your problem is that you've trained your brain to always look for the next thing, the bigger thing, the more exciting thing. When you face a task that requires sustained attention, your mind immediately starts searching for something easier, something that gives you instant satisfaction." He paused, letting his words sink in. "But what you just experienced walking slowly with that box is the opposite pattern. You focused on one simple action, completed it fully, and felt the satisfaction of finishing something. This is the secret that can transform your entire life." Sarah was beginning to understand, but she needed to hear more. Professor Chen continued, "The reason you procrastinate is because your brain has learned to expect immediate rewards. Every time you pick up your phone, instead of working on something important, every time you choose the easy task over the challenging one, you're teaching your brain that discomfort should be avoided. But real progress, real change happens when we learn to stay with discomfort and complete what we start." He picked up a larger box and handed it to Sarah. The solution isn't to force yourself to do everything at once. The solution is to start so small that your brain can't find an excuse to avoid it. If you want to write a book, don't commit to writing a chapter. Commit to writing one sentence. If you want to exercise, don't plan an hour workout. Plan to put on your exercise clothes. If you want to learn a language, don't study for 2 hours. Study for 2 minutes. Sarah felt something click in her mind. So it's not about the size of the action. Exactly. It's about proving to yourself that you can follow through. Every time you complete what you say you'll do, no matter how small, you build a trust with yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose that trust. The goal isn't to accomplish everything immediately. The goal is to become the kind of person who does what they say they will do. Over the following weeks, Sarah applied this principle to her life. Instead of planning to work on her business for 3 hours, she committed to working for just 10 minutes. Instead of trying to read an entire book, she read just 1 page. Instead of attempting a full workout, she did 5 minutes of stretching. Something remarkable happened. Those small actions didn't feel overwhelming, so she actually did them. And once she started, she often found herself naturally continuing beyond her small commitment. But even when she didn't, she had still kept her promise to herself. Day by day, her confidence grew. Month by month, her life began to transform. Sarah's story shows us the truth about procrastination. It's not a character flaw or a sign of laziness. It's simply a habit that can be changed. The secret isn't about finding more motivation or waiting for the perfect moment. The secret is about starting so small that failure becomes almost impossible. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person started with a single small step. Your dreams don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to begin. Today can be different, but only if you're willing to start smaller than you think you should. The question isn't whether you can change your life. The question is, what's the smallest step you can take right now? Take that step, and then take another. Your future self is counting on you to begin today.